Stockton.
93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton.
Movie releases, DVD rentals, and more here on The Movie Talk on KWDC 93.5 FM.
Hello, welcome to KWDC LP Stockton 93.5. This is The Movie Talk, and I am your host, Paul Besto. And here in the booth with me is
Michael
and Sirtaj.
And today in the Movie Talk, we have a special segment that we do monthly. We talk about great directors and their filmography. And this month is Christopher Nolan.
Who?
Christopher Nolan is a famous director making Hollywood films. He's done movies such as the Batman franchise. He's done his recent film Interstellar, Inception, Memento, Prestige, all that good stuff.
He has a great filmography for sure.
Yes. But before we start on the show, I just want to announce we have a Stockton Film Society here on campus at the RTV radio station, or the room.
Shima 146.
Shima 146.
Is where we host these meetings, and it's Thursdays, every Thursday at 2:30, right?
Yes, Sirtaj,
so
good.
Tell me more about this Stockton Film Society, Paul.
So the society is more for students and other people influenced and interested in film to come out and share and collaborate their ideas. And we analyze films. We sometimes make films outside of the society, and we're just a collaborative club that we're always willing to help.
Right. And so if I'm an actor, is this something I should be interested in?
Be perfect, because then you can meet with directors and collaborate if you're interested in acting for the screen.
If I like editing? How about that?
If you like editing, yeah, come on down. We'll do, and there's also going to be workshops. So we're going to have editing workshops, screenwriting workshops, and all that good stuff.
What if I want to make the soundtrack to your movie?
Let's keep going down the list. What if I want to do stunts?
We could do that. So anyway, not get off subject. Today we're talking about Christopher Nolan and two of his films. We have Memento and Batman Begins. So, and we've all seen this movie, and we're all kind of going to give our own analysis and opinions about it. So let's begin with Memento. So Memento, short logline, is a guy is looking for his wife's killer, and he has this rare condition where he can't create new memories. So it's basically he has amnesia. And the film is presented in black and white, and the color sequences, or black and white and color, I'm sorry. And the colored sequences are backwards, and the black and white sequences are forward. And this is an astounding achievement for a filmmaker. I've never seen it done. I think Christopher Nolan I think this is almost his best film, in my opinion, and almost his masterpiece. Because
definitely, when you watch the movie for the first time, you're going to be surprised by the outcome.
It's very different. The editing, he won an achievement in editing too, and it's very interesting because not only does the character have amnesia, but as the audience, we're kind of with that character in his mind too.
Yeah, if people watch Interstellar or Inception and think those are like confusing movies, and they haven't seen Memento, watch Memento. Like, you're gonna have to watch it.
Right, and Memento is more sophisticated than, in my opinion, than Interstellar and Inception. But let's get into it. Okay.
Still a good movie though.
So, so you guys have all seen this. So what do you guys think about it?
Oh man, okay, so the first time I watched this movie, I was just amazed. I was astounded because we've talked about non-linear storytelling before with Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, and those types of movies. That's been done before, sure, where you don't tell the story necessarily in order, but this movie kind of goes backwards, but in a very, very interesting way. And I'd never really seen that before, and it's definitely a movie that doesn't have this, I personally feel, it doesn't have the same effect when you watch it the second time, because you know what's going to happen, you know how it's going to end.
Right.
And if you watch this movie in order, then it would not have the same effect.
For sure.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that I recommend very often to people who appreciate film and who appreciate unique works of art.
All right, Michael, what do you think? Do you like this film?
I agree. First watching the film, I was definitely I felt like I watched it backwards, which at the time I didn't realize. I actually had watched half of it backwards. So yeah, it was definitely confusing. Multiple viewings was required for me anyways. But yeah, definitely one of his more, I would say, artistic films for sure. He definitely takes some more artistic liberties. And I mean, actually, I liked the movie so much that one year for Halloween, I was the main character. I had Sharpied a bunch of the. If you guys have seen the film, he's got tattoos covered in his body.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you dressed as.
I figured that. He's got a bunch of tattoos on his body to remind him of basically clues to capture the person who killed his wife. So I basically tattooed myself with a Sharpie for.
That's a really good
cool.
costume.
For a night, and I had like a jacket. Like it was, half the people didn't know what it was because the drawings were so bad because I did them myself, which is really hard to do.
You do it like in the mirror,
yourself.
like in the movie?
A few of them I did in the mirror to make them backwards. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
I mean, the movie blew my mind. And fun fact, it's the only movie that I've seen besides The Matrix that has
Carrie-Anne Moss?
Carrie-Anne Moss in it. Yeah. Not a fun fact.
I think I agree with that. I don't think I remember a movie with Carrie-Anne Moss.
Yeah.
I feel
As
like
bad
I've
as that
seen her,
sounds.
I've seen her in something else, but I can't remember what.
There's a few
know.
Matrix
Maybe I
movies
imagined it.
and this, and that's about it.
Yeah.
In this film, so the character, he has amnesia, so he tattoos himself on his body and looks in a mirror and tries to, he has like clues on his body of who he thinks the killer is. And so we kind of get to the midpoint where we kind of know who the characters are, but we know who the main character is trying to obtain,
Right.
is trying to capture, but we don't know the evidence, so we kind of find that out.
Yeah. I mean, the film, it's a very subjective film too. You're definitely in the character's head the whole movie.
Right.
There's a bunch of movies I could name off that are like that too, but I mean, this one does it amazingly well. You're stuck in the character's head. You're seeing, only what he knows.
Yes. As the character gets information, you do too.
Right.
So
Where most movies that people see are usually plot driven, like you're following a plot and you don't always know, you're not let in the character's head, you're not always knowing what the character is thinking or seeing specifically. With this movie, that's all you know. All you know is what the character knows.
Which is really interesting because if you think about it, since the movie goes backwards and it's sort of like with the disease, not the disease, the brain condition that he's suffering from, he's actually losing the information, right? While we're gaining it.
We're gaining it, yeah.
So because the way the story is told, he's losing information, and then we know more and more about the actual story that's going on.
Right.
It's very, very interesting.
There's a lot of things that we don't know and we don't realize until like you see the movie again.
Yes.
It takes multiple viewings, and I saw this film 6 times.
Dang.
The first time, I really didn't like it.
Really?
And then the second time I did, and then I saw it in a film class again, and man, everybody like hated the film in class, and
Really?
then I was like, I think I figured it out. And then teacher was like, yeah, I write a paper about it, and got an A on the paper because I think I figured it out. But we'll go to the analysis later. But the film is very complex in a lot of sorts because of how everything is backwards.
Yeah.
But not only that, is at the end of one scene, another scene will begin from the beginning of that other scene. It's kind of hard to explain on here.
Well, the easiest way to explain it, I guess, because it's a visual movie, obviously, but the easiest way to explain it, I would say, is the black and white is
forward.
Right. So think of the black and white timeline as going from point A to point B in the story, and then color would be going from point B to point A.
Yes.
And they're cutting back and forth, and eventually, since you're going from A to B,
They're
and
kind of
then B to
meeting.
A, at one point you meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's where the first viewing you're just so confused. But it's, even though I was confused, I was still so interested and captured by the film that I definitely wanted to find out why I was confused and what I didn't understand, so I could understand it. So definitely worth seeing.
And we're talking about Memento here. This is Christopher Nolan's second film in his filmography, and this is kind of where he arrives to some kind of fame here with this film.
Right. So he had one movie before this following that was kind of an indie film, and then this came out, and he became hot property because of this.
This is when they noticed him, yeah.
Yeah.
His first movie is definitely worth seeing. I'm just going to say that real quick.
Oh, yeah.
But what's great about Nolan that I always loved about his early films is he goes back into like the noir inspired films, of crime and mostly mystery. And I love mystery films, but there's not a lot nowadays that I can like recall off the top of my head that are recent. And I just wish he could just go back to doing mystery films in a way. And he did in Insomnia.
Right.
And I really loved that movie too. And in Prestige, there's a lot of mystery in that too.
And Batman was, a detective comics.
He's the greatest detective of all time.
There you go.
Agree to disagree on that. But we'll get to that when we talk about Batman Begins.
All right.
But Memento.
Yes.
So I'm gonna ask some questions, and you guys are gonna answer some questions. So here we
I'm
go.
tied down to my chair. Okay.
So do you think this is Nolan's best movie out of his filmography?
Do I think it's the best movie
So far,
man.
is it his best movie?
No, because I'd say just because the rewatchability of it. Because again,
I can see that. Yeah.
The first time you watch it, to me,
It gets annoying.
It's the best,
but it's good. But then
right.
it's like annoying to watch it again.
Yeah,
sometimes.
the first time you watch it, you're not gonna get a better experience from the next time you watch it, right? It is a very, very well told story. It's very, very unique and extremely well done, but I don't think it's his best movie.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Michael?
I feel like I would have to think about this longer, but for now, what I think is it's his best movie, but not necessarily his best made movie. Does that make sense?
I think I do because
like his best story.
Because I mean there are going to be mistakes just like in any film, especially if it's only your second film.
Yeah.
But it's for me anyways, it's such a great film and so interesting in how he ordered the scenes together and what he chooses to show you and not show you to slowly piece together this puzzle of a movie that is just it's great. There's other movies he's made later on that were probably more technically perfect, where there wasn't, I don't know, a boom mic sneaking into the shot, or there wasn't a jump cut, or there wasn't,
Was there any of that in Memento? Is there mistakes like that?
I don't know.
He's just giving
examples. I think I'm getting.
But there
movie
are definitely films that he makes where the pacing is more seems easier to follow, more natural, and somewhat like you could argue that is a better film when it's easier to follow and you don't have to view it multiple times. Mm-hmm. But I think it's his best film artistically for sure.
I think so too, and I could see where you can say maybe his later films are more technically better, like in visual effects, definitely improved when they won an Academy Award for Inception and Interstellar, which is like awesome because there's two great
a really amazing accomplishment.
Accomplishments in movies. So in that respect, I can see that the other movies he's made are simpler to follow, but they're kind of more complex to make. Like Inception, there was a lot going on with dreams. There's a train going through the street, and then there's a revolving hallway, and they're fighting in like zero G almost in a way.
Yeah,
all those sequences
just play in that room. You know what I mean?
I should make that an amusement park ride.
I would almost argue that Memento might have some of the best performances by actors in any of Christopher Nolan's movies.
Guy Pearce.
I'm gonna have to agree with that.
Guy Pearce is amazing.
Guy Pearce is always a good actor.
Was I think my discovery of Guy Pearce.
Really?
If I remember right.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've probably seen him in other movies. I just didn't know who he was.
He's usually a supporting actor.
Yeah. So this movie was like the first movie where I noticed him.
Okay.
So in terms of performances by him, Carrie-Anne Moss,
the guy that plays
the character named Teddy.
Teddy, yeah. Forgot his name. We'll remember when we come back though.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that one. But all the performances are better. Before the show, Besto and I were talking about the rest of Nolan's films and how some of his characters can kind of be
monotone,
slightly
and boring,
a little. I would say
they're more one-dimensional.
They're not boring, but I would say they're more one-dimensional, maybe.
All right,
but not boring for sure. And Memento, it's definitely got the best performances and the strongest character. Actually, if anything, Memento
has the worst character arc because the main character doesn't change throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
but actually, we'll get on to that though.
Let's not give anything away in the story.
We'll get back to that.
Real quick, Teddy's character is played by Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah, from Bad Boys. He's the police chief.
Right.
From Bad Boys.
He's also in The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're both in the Matrix.
He's the guy who wants steak.
Yes.
Yeah. He's the Cypher, the villain in The Matrix. Okay, and we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to further discuss Memento. Stay tuned.
What would you do if you had to choose between the buffalo and the giraffes? Between a flower or an elephant? What would you choose? What if you had to decide between a 100-year-old tree and a 1,000,000-year-old beach? Between drinking clean water or breathing clean air? Would you make the right choice? Would there be a right choice? Now there's a way to help. Not just one, but all these things. Earthshare, the world's leading environmental groups working together. It's one choice we can all live with.
This ad sponsored by Ad Council and Earthshare.
Marissa! Let's go! You are not missing school again. All right then, hit it. I know you can hear this. Cut that noise, yo! I'm coming! Took you long enough.
Hey, whatever it takes, don't let your friends drop out. For more ways to help, go to OperationGraduation.com. A public service message from the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
What would happen if you didn't follow the established path? Would you feel scared or proud? Could you explain that helping the people of Peru improve their own community would also have an effect on your own? Would you rather make your own way or spend a lifetime saying, what if? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps. To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or go to peacecorps.gov.
Live in Studio G at San Joaquin Delta College, KWDC, LP Stockton, 93.5 FM.
Same two, same three different trees, changed the size, a little bit.
Pull the South Park effect, like give it just enough.
This is Tagalog for good morning. If you wanted to say good morning to somebody, you would say Magandang umaga.
I too knew it was Small Business Week, and I have 5 simple things you can do to help your business make the most of the web.
Home of the San Joaquin Delta College Mustangs, KWDC 93.5 FM.
Movie releases, DVD rentals, and more here on The Movie Talk on KWDC 93.5 FM.
Hello and welcome back to KWDC LP Stockton 93.5. This is The Movie Talk, and I am your host, Paul Besto, and here in the booth with me is...
Sirtaj Bangu.
And...
Michael.
Changing it up. Okay.
All right, yeah. And we're... And every Tuesdays now, we're talking about great directors in this great director segment.
Oh, is that why you brought me here?
That's why we brought you here. Yeah.
Because I'm a great director?
Well, sure.
Very humble
director. So we
discuss
discuss a great director's filmography for a month, and we talk and analyze their movies. And today, our great director is Christopher Nolan and his filmographies. And we're talking about Memento and Batman Begins. But... we started with Memento, so we're going to continue off with that.
Yes, indeed.
And I have a couple questions for you guys.
I forgot what movie?
See
what I did there?
Yeah, because Memento is all about memory loss.
What?
I get it.
Clever.
All right. So why do you think Christopher Nolan wanted to make this movie backwards? And more importantly, why do you think he chose black and white sequences and color at certain points?
Okay, so there's two sort of stories going on in a way, right? There's the one that's in color, one in black and white. The one in color is the main storyline that we did kind of explain. It goes backwards. It goes from point B to point A, and then the black and white scenes go from point A to point B, or I should really say point C to point D, because it is telling sort of a different story. And I think he did the black and white scenes to really just easily show the audience that this is going forwards. It's not like the main story. I think that's why he did that in black and white. But more interestingly, I really don't know why he added those scenes where he's on the phone. So in every black and white scene, it involves him basically on the phone talking to an unknown person at the other end of the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he decided to add this forward going part to the story.
My guess would be, and I agree with why they would choose black and white or color, is just to make it easy to figure out which storyline is which. In terms of him being on the phone, I think as some of us in this room know, Nolan really likes to fill some of his movies with his characters explaining what's going on in detail. So honestly, I think that's the easy answer right there. Is he literally just felt like he needed
some exposition,
some explanation, because the movie was already so complex and hard to follow, that having the main character narrate it is obviously going to help people, clue people in on what's going on.
Okay.
Well, I think with the black and white sequences, I have this whole. I studied this psychologist Lacan, and I see his Nolan using a lot of Lacan's theory in his movies, and especially in Memento. And Lacan's very famous for a lot of things, but most importantly, he's kind of like Freud, where he created the id, the ego, superego. But Lacan creates the real, the imaginary, and the symbolic. And I think in the black and white sequences, the main character is in this real world. He's kind of inside his head, and he's trying to figure out the answers, where in the color film sections, he's in the symbolic world, where he thinks he's getting to the next clue, he's getting to the next part, and it's not really going anywhere to us. But the character himself, is living in the symbolic world, where he's believing what he wants to believe.
Yeah, and I mean, one could argue, because obviously when we perceive our own world, our own life, it's in forward time. We don't perceive it in backwards time, right? So, and everybody pretty much thinks, like, so going forward being black and white, one could argue that it's because as we go forward with our daily lives, it's pretty monotone, pretty boring, uneventful. So maybe that's how the character feels. He feels like he's not getting anywhere with trying to find his wife's killer. So the black and white could be sadness, monotone. He feels like he's stagnant in his efforts. Where in color, going backwards, the colors are, well, there's color in the first place, but it's more saturation, more color, which is the audience feeling more fulfilled. We're understanding the story more, and it's a little more exciting than most of the black and white scenes. Also, black and white scenes, like he was saying earlier, is mostly in a hotel room on a phone. Okay. So that could be an argument for black and white, not just.
Well, I'm gonna keep going with my argument, because I really think he uses a lot of Lacan's theory, and here we go. Right. So in all of Christopher Nolan's movies, the protagonist is always in this world where he believes what he wants to believe.
In a world.
So Memento, there's no character arc, really, because the protagonist just keeps doing the same thing every day. He's believing what he wants. He thinks he's got the killer at some points. In Inception, Cobb, at the end, the last shot of the film, is he sees his kids, which is his desire, and the top keeps spinning, and arguably, I think he's just dreaming the whole time, and he's believing that he's seeing his kids again.
We kind of touched on this on last Wednesday.
That's just a theory, though.
But real quick, if you follow the film's rules that it sets up, I don't think so. I think he actually wakes up. Yeah, but go ahead.
That'll be another.
I think the movie just ends, and we don't know.
Or it could, obviously.
Nolan's just messing with us, so we keep debating.
But anyway, I think all of his characters kind of are in the state of believing in what they want, and in this movie, even in Batman, he's being the symbol. Lacan, the symbolic. There's a metaphor there. And Batman's being who he wants to be, and when he's in reality without the costume, has all these troubles. He has relationship troubles. He has business troubles. But to continue with this story, as watching this film again and again, in the movie, Leonard plays this psychiatrist, and he's testing a guy with the same condition as he has in the movie, about regaining memory. And he says, so these tests, the guy is playing with these toys, and when he chooses the wrong toy, it like gives him a mild shock, right? And then Leonard's character says, in time, he will be able to regain memory and remember which toy shocks him.
Instinctively.
And we see that.
Yeah.
And I believe Leonard's character has the same thing. He's actually gaining the memory back. And there's a very, very small, brief section in the film, a brief scene where Leonard is running into the hotel. And remember, in this hotel, he's in the hotel the whole movie. And it's kind of like a comedic part to some people, but they kind of don't notice this. Is when he goes to open the door, he like pushes it, but he's not supposed to push it because it doesn't open. Right. So then he pulls it. But in the rest of the movie, he's always opening the door the same exact way. So it's like...
By pulling doors? Or
by every time he's entered this building,
right.
He's always...
He knows exactly which way the door opens.
He knows which way the door opens. So now he's like believing in what he wants to believe and almost faking this condition. You got to watch it again.
Or it was
it's crazy.
Just Guy Pearce.
It's not a mistake because people think it's a comedic thing. People are like, that's funny because that happens to me all the time. But it's not. He's regaining the memory and he just doesn't want to believe in
what he's doing.
And he's the actual murderer.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nah. But that's another theory. If he's the murderer or not, we don't know.
He was talking about a different movie. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
All right, but that's my analysis. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that's credible in what I'm saying, or is it?
The ending of the movie?
I really like that, and I need to go back and watch that.
Watch it again.
See if you
and no one else has told me this. No one else has brought this to my attention. It's just I watched it.
I really like that.
And I saw it, and I was like, this is not a mistake. And everything in the film isn't.
It's intentional.
That's intentional.
Right.
And so I thought that was interesting. So I thought I'd add that.
If that's, I need to really rewatch that because if that's true, I definitely have to agree with you. I mean, then his condition is more psychological and
because he says, well, we can regain memories. Yeah, we can regain memories, and then he does in the beginning.
Right.
Because it's backwards, right? So in the beginning, he's already gained the memory back. Okay, Michael, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think I'm complete? Like it's over your
bonkers.
Head? How dare you? No, no. I get it. I mean, it makes sense. Whether I don't know if I would agree whether it was intentional or not. I'd have to watch it again because I don't remember that spot specifically.
Oh, okay.
If Guy Pearce goes for the door and does it the wrong way and looks at the camera and winks, then I might think like, oh, this was on purpose.
Well, obviously, that doesn't happen. Maybe he's that's obviously he doesn't look into the camera. But
and
anyway,
makes a little sound like just Nolan in the background smiling, giving a thumbs up.
Goodness. Well, I mean, this film, a lot of people get the DVD version and they try to watch it forward and try to get it. And there's a lot of codes, like you can match the numbers, scenes up to the colors. It's kind of, to me, BS when the movie right there kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So if you ever have memory loss and you see a door and you're trying to regain memory.
That's messed up, man.
Don't even try. Don't even open the door.
Yeah. Just don't.
50-50 chance.
That's really.
But anyway, psychologically, like, because I study a little bit of psychology too. This is a true condition, and this is the most accurate depiction of this condition I've ever seen on film, of amnesia. I've never seen it.
But 50 First Dates.
There you go.
Well, that's a different.
What was it? 10-second Tommy or something?
Yeah. Well, this one, every time he kind of falls asleep, he loses his memory, and that's realistic.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
And even when I go to sleep, I don't even remember what happens the last day. Maybe I kind of have
You
it.
should stop drinking.
That
would solve that problem.
Got him.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about Christopher Nolan's film Batman Begins. So stay with us.
Would it be crazy if you just stopped everything, packed your bags and left for a week, a month, a year? What if you left for 2 years? Would people think you'd lost your mind? What if you were going far away to help in a village on the edge of the Gobi Desert? A village crowded with Buddhist temples, not skyscrapers. A place where there isn't a word for recluse, but 1,000 words for community. Would it be crazy to go 5,000 miles from home? To spend time with people the rest of the world only reads about? to build libraries and fill them with stories, prepare a meal with food you helped grow, to teach children and learn a thing or two about yourself. Would that be crazy? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go? To find out more, call 1-800-424-8580 or visit peacecorps.gov.
Hi, this is Paul McCartney on behalf of RAD. If you're drinking, you can't drive my car or any car. And remember, don't drink and drive. It's just not worth it.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
My name's Rachel, and in 8 years, I'll be an alcoholic.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults.
I'll start drinking in middle school, and I'll do some things I don't really want to do. So by the time my parents talk to me about it, alcohol won't be my only problem.
So start talking before they start drinking. To learn more, go to stopalcoholabuse.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Ad Council, and this station.
KWDC LP, Stockton.
This is the Master Mix Show, brought to you by the one and only DJ E-Dub. 93.5 KWDC, this is the Wake Up Show with J.O.D.
For the people that are doing this, playing the bangers is not going to get you more attraction. You know, what you're doing is getting the track more attraction.
Welcome back to the Folk Block here at KWDC 93.5 FM. I'm your host, Carmen Cruz.
Home was all we'd known.
KWDC presents Retro Radio, where I play all of your favorite tracks from the 50s and 60s.
To make a change. The song is entitled Change, and his name is Merlon.
Home of the San Joaquin Delta College Mustangs, 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton.
You're listening to the Movie Talk on KWDC 93.5 FM.
Welcome back to Movie Talk. I'm your host, Paul Besto, and here in the booth with me is
Sirtaj Bangu
and Michael.
And this is KWDC LP Stockton 93.5 radio. We're talking about the Great Director segment, which is talk about great directors and their filmography. Today is Christopher Nolan and his films Memento and Batman Begins. Now, we just discussed Memento, so now we're going to go on to Batman Begins. So, I thought...
Are we beginning now?
We're beginning now. Because I thought Batman Begins...
Have we begun?
I thought Batman ended at Batman and Robin, and then it kind of almost... Kind of like a reboot in a way.
Oh, for sure.
I think a lot of...
I guess it's a reboot.
A lot of people wanted
and
Batman to end after Batman.
And Batman Begins, I think, is Christopher Nolan's best movie out of the Batman franchise. And I think it's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. Oh, one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
It's a large statement.
That's why I said one of my favorites, not the favorite.
Okay.
But what do you guys think? Did you guys enjoy this one, or did you like some of the other Batman?
I was so excited when this came out.
Yeah, I was super excited when this movie came out. To be honest, like, it kind of snuck up on me.
It did,
because like Nolan does a lot, he likes to keep his films kind of secretive. He doesn't release a lot of information. He likes to build suspense with the audience before they see the movie. And yeah, I had no idea this movie was coming out until like probably a few weeks before it came out. And yeah, awesome movie. Such a great way to reinvigorate like the Batman franchise and. It got the fans excited again after the...
And we are big fans of Batman
after
ourselves.
The possible failures.
Is Batman... I think Batman and Robin was a great film.
Dude, what?
I'm just kidding.
No, really. Honestly, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, even though I know they're not considered good movies, they still have a special place in my heart.
Yeah, they have a special place
they're part of my childhood.
Yeah, same here.
So I can't help it.
Yeah, I love them. I watch them. I watch the commentaries. Or listen to the commentaries.
You listen to the commentaries?
I do. I like.
Okay.
I don't know why.
No judgment. No judgment.
I've never done that.
No.
Yeah, they're fun when you listen to the Kevin Smith ones. Those are funny.
I had a poster of Val Kilmer as Batman Forever.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad it wasn't George Clooney.
George Clooney. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no.
Sorry. Yeah, George Clooney. Yeah.
I said that.
Because his suit.
The bat nipples.
His suit had the bat nipples.
Yeah.
And so I didn't notice him until like people started talking about him, and so I put pasties up.
Oh, that's funny.
To hide.
That's fine. Yeah.
To hide the nip.
Right. Keep it rated G.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Yeah.
So anyway, Batman Begins follows Bruce Wayne and his stepping into the bat suit
and his rise to darkness, or one could say fall.
What?
To darkness?
Yeah. Okay. Fall to darkness.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing a play on Dark Knight Rises.
The main villain in this one, who we've never seen in the Batman movies, is the Scarecrow, which is really cool, and I thought he was a really cool villain.
Yeah. And Ra's al Ghul.
And Ra's al Ghul, which played by Liam Neeson's.
Ra's al Ghul.
Liam Neeson.
And he's great. But what I love about Scarecrow is one of my favorite scenes is they're all in this like abandoned apartment. And this is like where we see for the first time Batman is like in stealth mode. He's like rising from the shadows. You see him like go down and he comes back up. And it's like a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And then Scarecrow kind of gives him his little
fear spray.
The fear spray.
Yeah, where his worst fear comes out.
And that was really cool to see Batman's worst fears, which was bats.
Yeah.
And he's dressing up as a bat basically.
He just needed to lighten up,
That's the line.
That's the line Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to lighten up.
Yeah, and that's my favorite scene, I think, in the whole movie. What do you guys think? What's your favorite scene in the movie?
Favorite scene? Honestly, probably my favorite scene is first thing that came to mind is when he catches I forget his name, the bad cop by the ankle after he steals falafel from the street vendor.
Oh yeah,
and he pulls him up, and he's like holding him upside down, and he's just like
swear to me.
He's terrifying. Yeah,
yeah.
A lot of people. A lot of people make fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't even notice the voice, by the way, until the second movie when it got like.
I honestly didn't either. Yeah,
it got exaggerated in the second
same.
movie. But that scene, like, it's perfect. And it kind of for me that scene is an example of how the whole film kind of changed. The way Batman movies were made, like this movie was almost made like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Where like people are like Tim Burton, I feel like got close with his Batman movies, where the characters were scared and you almost felt that fear. But I think in Batman Begins you feel that a lot more during that shipyard scene.
Oh, it's one of my favorite scenes too.
Where there's like they're scared to death and they have no idea where he is. And one of them even says, "Where are you?" And he says, "Here." And he's not where he expected.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah. It is. They kind of do like horror movie little cliche
Definitely.
shout-outs there. And they work.
Definitely.
They work really well. They definitely, Nolan tried to take this in a more realistic, less cartoony vibe. Maybe realistic isn't the best.
It was.
It's more
compared to the other ones.
Yeah,
definitely.
it's more realistic.
Yeah.
But interesting. He kind of gets rid of that horror aspect in the second and third films of the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
They're still in there a little bit, but definitely the first movie was way
dark. Yeah.
I mean, the second movie, Dark Knight, is still dark, but there's more horror filmmaking styles involved.
And
for sure, in the lighting, in the camera movement, camera stares in a dark corner, and you don't see him until he comes out. In all the other movies, you see Batman all the time. Like you never see him in a dark corner, or if he is, you still can kind of see like a highlight on his costume, so you always see him. Batman Begins, you don't see him a lot of the time.
He is the Dark Knight.
It makes it scarier. Yeah.
Definitely one of the best superhero movies made of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I think Dark Knight might take the number one spot for me. But my favorite scene. I was gonna say the falafel one too, where he takes him up.
You don't like falafel?
You don't like falafel? There's a college humor sketch. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's seen it, but it's very funny. I can't. The one at the by the seaport with all the containers.
I love that.
That was really well done as well. Also, when he's flying above the city when it's filled with the fear gas and
that looks creepy.
The demonic face. I really like
Yeah.
that. And if anyone watches Game of Thrones, King Joffrey was in this movie, and he's the one who saw that as. They don't watch Game of Thrones.
I don't know.
Hey, you don't have to call me out, man. Now nobody's gonna like me.
It's all right.
It's okay. You can't spoil Game of Thrones, so you'll be loved, basically. All right.
So here, we'll play a little game.
Okay.
Since we've seen Memento and Batman Begins, we're going to say a line from Memento in Batman's voice.
All right.
All right. So, okay, am I going first?
Yeah, Paul, you go first.
All right.
Introduce your
I gotta
game.
think of a line.
Okay. You want to look up lines real quick?
Sure.
Just for you.
You
For
don't
you
know.
guys. For you guys.
Sure.
Because I know.
For us,
Sure,
for us.
Paul.
I know. So Batman is also known for his very like how would you raspy voice. And so this is a scene. I'm gonna do a scene in
A whole scene?
No. Would you calm down?
Just do the movie. We'll leave.
No. A little part in Memento, which is my favorite. One of my favorite lines is where Leonard is kind of driving, and then what's that character's name? The villain of in Memento.
In Memento?
Teddy. When Teddy is,
he's not the villain.
Well, let's not give away more.
Let's
than
not give
we've
away
already
more.
given
Yeah.
away.
Right.
So Teddy jumps like kind of on the window of the guy's car, and he goes, "Hey, Lenny."
Yeah.
And okay, so I'm gonna do that with a Batman voice.
Do it.
All right. Hey, Lenny. All right, so that's mine.
I really can't say if that was terrible or not, or if it was.
Well,
brilliant.
we're all gonna after this, we're gonna all vote on it and see if people call in. And,
Okay.
And maybe someone can vote on the.
Okay,
on best voice.
I got one.
All right, you ready?
Okay.
John G., you killed my wife.
That was good. That was good. That was a good
All right,
voice.
cool,
The line was censored, which had to be.
Yeah.
But honestly, those were the two I was gonna do. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh man.
I'm not trying to cop out, but those were the two I was gonna do.
Do you have one?
Yeah, you still gotta do
another
one.
I got a lot of Batman lines.
No, we're doing Memento. Memento lines and Batman voice.
Do this one.
Okay,
That's
okay, I'll do that one. Sure, we highlighted one.
You got it? You got it. Here we go.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
We all lie to ourselves to be happy.
That's a good. That's my favorite line in Memento too.
I don't know if anybody's gonna understand. I don't know how this would come across on radio.
We all
It probably
lied
just
to
sounds.
ourselves.
All three of our lines probably just sound like we're breathing heavily.
Well, that's kind of how Batman.
Yeah, he's a heavy
Well, he
breather,
does this to
Batman.
disguise his
Right.
voice.
But definitely call in if you have a Batman voice. We want to hear it.
Yes, and our number is 209-954-5526. That is 209-954-5526. Call in. Give us your Batman voice. I really want to hear. I really want someone to call in.
Yes,
Definitely.
awesome. So, what else can we talk about this film? Let's see. I have a million questions.
You should know, Paul.
Because you guys are like Batman fans, and I'm a Batman fan.
Yes. I'm a big comic book fan.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a good question. Does it match with the comic books? Do any of his Batman movies match with all the comic books, or just like a specific one?
I don't remember.
Because to me, when I first saw it, I thought it was very different from a comic book.
So there's Batman Year One is the one that I guess he probably gets a lot of inspiration from. I think almost all of his movies for the Dark Knight trilogy, Nolan's trilogy for Batman is he pulls a bunch of different stories, story arcs, characters from a bunch of different Batman comic story arcs and brings them together.
Right.
He does it really well, and he picks and chooses from the good ones is what he does.
Yeah. I mean, I would say some of it because. I mean, it's been a long time since I bought Batman comics, but I still have a stack of them at my house. But there's, for the most part, the tone.
It matches what I believe is Batman.
Depending on the comic. I mean, there's so many versions of Batman comics. Like there's, I mean, obviously the Adam West version comics where it's very campy and very like, okay, let's save the day. You're welcome, Mayor. Shake hands, get the key to the city, type of thing. And then there's the darker horror movie like Batman. If anybody's ever read, I think it's called Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Which is actually Christian Bale wasn't sure if he wanted to do the movie, and then someone sent him that comic book, and he read it, and that's kind of what made him decide to actually do it. He's like, wow, this Batman character. He was more interested in doing villains because he always thought villains in most Batman that I know of are more interesting.
Because they're the same as Batman in a way, too.
Well, but they usually, I mean, in any comic book movie, even though we're the hero, fans of the hero, the villain is the one we're interested in. But he saw that comic and he was like, wow, Batman's a lot more complex of a character than I thought.
Right.
And that's what...
Especially in the older movies, when you watch the movies, you know the outcome. You know what's going to happen,
right?
And you want to see the villain. You're going for the villain, basically. How does he, face... Two-Face or whatever, but in these newer movies, it's like, what is Batman gonna do? I want to watch Christian Bale's Batman.
Yeah, and see how it gets out of the
Yeah.
all the mess that Gotham's in. Gotham's always, man, it's like worst crimes in the city and I've ever really heard in a comic. But we're going to wrap up right now and talk about Batman Begins when we get back, so please stay tuned.
Attention swimmers, get out of the water immediately!
Dude, is that? It's a pair of thunder thighs. Big ones, too. And Mom, who's been swimming a lot with her kids, must have lost them.
Whoa. Small step number 54. Play with your kids. It's just one of the many small steps you can take to get healthy. Learn more at www.smallstep.gov.
Public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I'm New Jersey Governor John Corzine, and I should be dead. On April 12th, I was critically injured in a car accident where I lost over half my blood and broke 15 bones in 18 places. I spent 8 days in intensive care where a ventilator was breathing for me. It took a remarkable team of doctors and a series of miracles to save my life, when all I needed was a seatbelt. I have to live with my mistake. You don't. Buckle up.
Hi, I'm Joanne Woodward. Ever notice how many things in life happen in a circle? The seasons, revolving credit, hula hoops, the spinning of the circle we call Earth, and recycling. Together, we've already made a difference. Sorting glass, plastic, separating cans, stacking newspapers. Now there are lots of products made from things we've already recycled. A paperclip, in a more daring life, a 56 convertible. A cereal box, once your Sunday paper. It all goes back to the circle. It starts when we recycle trash at home and at work. It's completed when we buy products made from recycled materials. How do you know the difference? Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. You'll save a tree, you'll save energy, and in your own way, you'll help save the world. Complete the circle.
For your free Buy Recycled shopping guide, call 1-800-2-RECYCLE. A message from the Ad Council and Environmental Defense. Finding the ways that work.
You're listening to the Movie Talk on KWDC 93.5 FM.
And welcome back to KWDC LP Stockton. This is 93.5 radio. I am your host, Paul Besto. Here in the booth with me is
Sirtaj Bangu
and Michael.
And we're discussing great directors. This is the Great Director segment where we talk about filmmakers and their filmography. Great filmmakers and their filmography for a month. And this month is Christopher Nolan, and we're talking about his films Memento and Batman Begins. And we're still discussing Batman Begins, if it has began. And the last time we were here, we wanted you to call us and send us your best Batman impression.
No callers yet.
But there's no callers yet.
It's ringing off the hook.
But
guys.
we're ready. We're ready for you guys to call.
I really want someone to call, but if they don't.
So Batman Begins. You know, I
my
think
grandma calls.
in a weird way.
Hold on, Michael. Does your grandma have a good Batman voice?
She's been smoking for years.
Okay.
So she can't really help it. You know.
So that's just she's a natural Batman.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
So
Got
it's
it.
like,
Michael, it's time for lunch.
Oh,
okay, Grandma. It's kind of terrifying at night.
I bet it is. All right, so go on, Paul.
Anyway, so I grew up with Batman Forever, and that to me that was the dark Batman. But then when I saw Tim Burton's, I was like, this is the Batman that, and I envisioned, because I was obsessed and I always watched the animated series, Batman animated series on TV every day. Every day it was on.
Yeah,
it was on at 5 o'clock. I even remember the time it's on.
Nice.
And
we believe you, Paul.
And I loved how the architecture was in Burton's Batman, and they kind of kept that, and then they made Batman into kind of like almost like an espionage character at some points, and then an action character, superhero in another. And he had a lot of like emotional trouble. There was a lot of drama between him and Robin, and all of that. And when I know
who I am.
And Batman Forever. We'll get to that scene actually in Batman Forever. So I watched this movie every day and I loved it, and this was the Batman I believed in. And then Michael, when I met him, he was like, I'm a big Batman fan too.
Yeah.
And we started watching we watched the movie together and critiqued it, and we're making jokes.
Which one?
Batman Forever.
Right. Yeah.
And we were like, even like when Batman's first line in Batman Forever is, "I'll take drive-through." When Alfred like asks like, would you like something to eat? And we're like, it's not serious Batman or anything.
They don't like mask their voice in the old ones, did they?
He lowers it
not as much,
and kind of whispers a little bit.
Okay. Val Kilmer's the whisperer, and then George Clooney's like the bobblehead kind of Batman.
Right. Yeah. And then Christian Bale's like the throat cancer. Like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so bad. But anyway, in Batman Forever, there's some deleted scenes that Michael and I saw, and there's this one scene that I cannot believe that was even considered a scene. Is Batman or Bruce Wayne is in the Batcave, and he's like, I really don't know who I am anymore, Alfred. And Alfred is like next to like a cave with like an open crevice, and he's kind of like indicating Bruce to go in the crevice.
Yeah.
So Bruce goes in there, and on the ground is like the book that I guess so. In Batman Forever, he falls in in the Batman franchise, he falls in a well, and he sees a bat and he gets scared.
Yeah.
And this one, I guess he has a book with him, and then there's a bat flying towards him, and after he sees the bat, he comes out of the Batcave, and Alfred is still there. And he goes, Alfred, I know who I am now. I'm Batman. And then he just walks away, like, out of frame.
But he doesn't say it like dark,
yeah,
like
it's just
emotional
it's
Batman.
weird.
He says it like he's like joyful.
I am Batman.
Yeah, almost. He's like, I'm Batman.
I don't remember this
at all. It's a deleted scene. You gotta watch it. The deleted scenes are hilarious. And I always have to watch them.
This is from Batman Begins?
This is from Batman Forever.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Batman Begins.
No.
Today. Sorry.
I don't think there is though. No. There's no...
He's just messing with you.
I mean, there's funny things in Batman Begins where, like, after there's this cool, horror espionage / action sequence in the shipyard scene.
Yeah.
At the end, there's like a homeless guy who has Batman, who has Bruce Wayne's coat, and you think Bruce Wayne would just look at him and fly away, and then he goes, "Nice coat," and then he just flies away, and it's kind of like, that's more of a.
Man, Bruce Wayne should have just gave him some money. I mean,
he gave him his coat. You know how much his coat is worth?
At the beginning of money, he gives him a lot of money. And a coat.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. I remember he just gave him a coat.
This is a nice coat.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, nice coat.
Yeah.
Or even like there's little lines like that kind of throw back to
comedic.
To kind of the corny Batman stuff.
Yeah. It doesn't throw back quite in the same way.
Not
thankfully,
not the same way. Yeah.
Thankfully, but definitely. I remember that part and being like, nice.
So I actually have a question for you guys involving Batman Begins. Surprisingly enough, with the new, they call it the Tumbler, the new Batmobile.
Right.
When they introduced that to you guys, like what? Because I mean, everybody has a Batmobile that they grew up with or that they have in their head that they love. Mm-hmm. So, like, how did you guys? Was it acceptable? Was it unacceptable? How did you guys feel?
So I saw it and I was like, okay, very cool. Better than the old like Corvette style with the fake flames going out the back.
Oh, I like that
one.
And the rubber wing that's like
flapping. Yeah, the rubber wing that's flapping. Like what?
Like a cheap.
I think it's better because it's more tactical. I mean, sure he can go like and blow stuff up, but at the same time, why does Batman have missiles, explosives, and machine guns on his Batmobile? Right? That seems kind of out of character.
Extreme.
I think it's cool that it's rugged. It can go in any terrain, jump around, and stuff like that. That's nice. Mm-hmm. It's pretty realistic in that aspect as well. But why does he have guns? Paul, what did you think?
I actually don't really like the Tumbler that much. I grew up with. I really love the Tim Burton version because I know the Tumbler for what you said, like the terrain and stuff, but I felt like in this Nolan's Batman franchise, when you see the Tumbler, people aren't saying, "Hey, it's Batman." Where in the classical cars, when that car went by the street, people were like, "Holy crap!"
Are you talking about people
Batman.
In the movie or people watching the movie?
Even when, like, in the shows and the comics and even the movies. I don't think they do it in Batman Begins. But when someone sees the Batmobile go by, they say something. Even in Batman Forever, actually, is a good example. Actually, it's kind of a bad example. When Robin comes into the Neon City, which is just flashing weird lights because it's Joel Schumacher, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this is the Batmobile. Why is it here?" And it had that classical look to it still that I enjoyed. But I can understand why people like.
That's why it's called Batman Begins. Nobody knew who he was.
Right. Like I can understand. So I don't dislike it. Like I don't like the movie because of the car. But for my preference, I don't really like it. But I like how Zack Snyder's taking it, where he's kind of doing the classical version and
Mixing it, yeah.
and the Tumblr. And I would probably take that route if I were kind of doing Batman. But anyway, I want to get Michael's opinion after the break. We're going to take a...
Oh, no, we actually ran out of time.
Oh, we ran out of time, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It feels like we just Batman Began.
All right. So, well, this program was made possible by the San Joaquin Delta College Radio Television Department, the KWDC Foundation, and members of KWDC and listeners like you. And before we go, I want to emphasize again, there's a film society, Stockton Film Society, where we meet every Thursday at 2:30. Come join us, where we share ideas, collaborate, and discuss films.
And we meet right here at Shima 146 at Delta College, and it's open to everyone.
Thank you, Sirtaj. And with that, I want to thank you all for listening. Peace out.
This is Annie B. Real with a spaz of realness here on KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton.